glancing at it, multitasking. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist as you brush your knee. Okay, so now you may be concentrating a lot on where your hands should be, but if you can think through what I'm going to say, it's very important and it can be applied right away. The hands go for the ride. The hands are positioned there, but what they move, not solely as a hand position, but they move because your body and your mind's telling it what to do. It's being driven by your core. Okay, so if I have my hands this way, they will move according to my body and where I place it. My core is helping me to form the movement of my hands. It is a package deal. It's a unit that's making everything work. When I finish my turn of my hips and waist, I am fully brushed my knee and I'm catching that ball in the center. To show you something to make it more concrete and understandable in that your hands go for a ride, I will try to show you that in what I'm going to demonstrate now, the hands are dictating my movement. Okay, and I'm not sure if I can do a good job on this, okay? But this is when my hands are moving and my body is not doing a darn thing for it. I'm out of alignment. In this particular demonstration, I'm using my hands as if they were the primary source of my movement. It is a misalignment because my hips and waist are still contorted. I can get easily have joint and knee problems, joint in the hips, okay? So what is it that I'm driving at? I'm driving at something like this. Something like this. Big difference, okay? So it's easy in the beginning when you're learning something new to say, I need to end up here and look nice. Therefore, I'll do anything in my power to finish this movement. But we should change our thinking to say, I'm priming my body. I know that this is a T. I know that this is an L, and I know that I need to come to a bow stance. If you know that, and that's going to drive your movement, your hands go for the ride, and that is Tai Chi. Can we try that? Okay. On a T, rooting down, parallel and higher. We're on a T stance, we want to do an L stance, we want to do a bow stance. Here we go. L, bow. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. T, L, bow. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. T, L, O. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. T stance. L stance. O stance. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Parallel and higher on a T. Bring it to your ear. Set out your heel. Turn your face. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. Parallel and higher on a T. Ear, hand, heel. Turn your hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. pivot, parallel higher on a T, multitask, ear, hand, heel, turn, hips and waist, press your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, parallel higher on a T, multitask, ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, press your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hold your ball on the T sets.
Tai Chi deals, at least Yang Tai Chi, deals in spirals and circular type movements. You can almost break down a lot of the movements into that kind of basis. For instance, if you were to take brush knee, what we're trying to learn, this comes this way, and then from there it comes this way, comes there, and comes this way, comes here. You see, this is sort of, my hand is really doing something like this, but I'm breaking it up into, you have it coming back here. That's one component here, one component here, one component here. But if you were just to do it in one smooth movement, and if you abbreviate it more, if any of you are Karate Kid fans, wax on, wax on, wax on, wax on, and you're doing it in. This is one oval or spiral, and the other spiral is just a half step behind it or a half step ahead of it. This one is doing this. It's going to come up and do this. So you end up, if you just want to get a familiarization of where your hand should be, it's almost, you could almost practice scrambling eggs. And then you start to time where it's supposed to be. So these two should be here, but then this starts coming down and this one's coming up. Okay. But that'll help you. Another thing about movement of your body. Tai Chi has two ways of moving your body. And one is linear movement, forward and back. The other is rotatory movement. I just happen to step forward, but what am I doing? I'm rotating my body. And that's how I end up transferring your power. You're getting from linear, you're transferring it in this relationship, but you're also transferring it in this relationship. Okay? But you have to be careful, and Lucille alluded to that. You cannot cramp yourself because the knees were made to do this. They were not made to do this. That's why if somebody plays football or basketball, they go the wrong way and somebody hits them or they plant the wrong way, the knees, the ligaments that are on the side, they break, okay? But the best part of moving knees is here. So an example would be from here, all my weight is on this side, substantial foot. Step out, and before I turn this here, I am coming up and I'm turning here. And as the weight comes down here, this becomes a substantial foot. So then you can do this. And there's no weight on this side, so what happens? Then you can turn. You sit back, this bent this way. Now I can turn this, okay? Then I shift my weight, and then I can come back. So try to think that one thing, knees should not be torquing. So if you were to step out like this, and then you try to turn your knees, what happens? You're equally footed, and this is going to give because you're twisting this knee. This will do fine, but this one is still planted on the ground, so you have to shift weight. And then you can turn, okay? Also, associated with that is her point that if you are this way, even if you shift this way, and you say, well, now I can turn this one, you're likely to be turning this a little bit this way or that way. And you're going to be torquing your knee, versus if you step outwards, then your knee has a better chance, as you turn this way, your knee has a better chance to go forward. So you don't want to stay in a line here. Like she said, you're cramped. That's when you start doing this movement. You don't want to do anything for your knees in that movement. So the lesson on that is make sure you're here, and before you give up this, you have put your foot in the proper position, far apart, in this manner, one shoulder width. And then you can start to do this, and then do that.